All right. Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Thursday. I am your meteorologist, Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to be talking about tonight. Obviously, we will continue to talk about the tropics. Obviously, we have at this point, I think that most people can say future tropical storm Gabrielle. We also do have some scattered isolated shower activity that will continue through this weekend, even going into Monday and Wednesday of next week, but it's pretty minimal. And then after that, we're going to talk about our muggy to potentially cooler conditions as we go through tomorrow and Saturday, and then the return of drier air on Sunday and Monday as that cold front pushes through. And then we'll also talk about tonight, just tonight's weather and anything else in the future. But first off, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so with the share button as well. Share it with all the people that you know. We are at, obviously, around 584, I believe, 584 subscribers. We are 16 away from that main goal of 600. Please go and hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Well, let's go on now and talk what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We have, obviously, some rainfall going on up here inside of the upstate. We also do have some rainfall that's going on over here with a storm about to move into Long Creek and Mountain Rest. We're about to receive some gusts of up to 40 miles per hour and some pea-sized hail. Also about to move through the Sumter National Forest. We also do have some rainfall moving through, but for the most part, you're not really seeing anything in terms of strong storms except for over here near Long Creek and Mountain Rest. If we go on and scroll our way out, see what's going on throughout the entire U.S. We have rainfall going on inside of obviously Georgia, North Carolina, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Vermont, going into Massachusetts and Connecticut. We also do have some rainfall going on in Wisconsin, going into Minnesota, and then even inside of Iowa. We do have some rainfall as well that goes on down into Oregon, Arizona, California, Nevada, Utah, and just that whole Four Corners region right there has some rainfall moving through. In terms of cloud cover, we do in fact have some cloud cover that's going on throughout the state right now, going through the upstate of South Carolina, obviously as that rain activity moves through. We do have some cloud cover going into the Midlands as well, but for the most part, I'm not really seeing anything else in terms of that cloud cover. If we move on over into our cloud cover for the future, again, pretty much the same thing that I just said. Even as you go on and push this forward, let me go to the past one real quick. Even as you go in later into tonight, into tomorrow, you can see that cloud cover still staying up in the portions of the upstate. Also going over into portions of potentially even the PD. And then as you get into tomorrow, like late morning into the early afternoon, cloud cover is still pretty limited. Limited maybe to places like the upstate, Midlands, but that's pretty much it. Some other locations, obviously Low Country, PD, Grand Strand, will see cloud cover, but it won't be as widespread potentially as the upstate and the Midlands. Current temperatures right now, 75 in Columbia and 74 in Orangeburg, 72 in Somerville and 74 in Sumter, 74 in Florence and 75 in Hartsville, 72 in Bennettsville and 71 in Conway, 77 in Myrtle Beach and 76 in Murrells Inlet, 73 also inside of Georgetown and 76 in North Myrtle Beach, 75 in Aiken as well as 75 in Charleston, 72 up here in Greenville, 71 in Spartanburg, and even 72 in York, 72 in Rock Hill, and 73 in Lancaster, 74 in Anderson, and 72 in Greenwood. Low temperatures for tonight around 65 in Greenville, and even 66 in Spartanburg, 65 in Rock Hill, and even 66 in Columbia, 66 in Orangeburg, and 66 in Walterboro, 67 in Moncks Corner, 73 in Charleston and Hilton Island, and 67 in Georgetown, 69 in Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall for tonight, you're not seeing much rainfall at all. Again, the upstate receiving that rainfall right now as we speak. And after that rainfall moves through, we're not really expecting anything else past that. Speaking of the crazy score for tonight, we're at a 13. We're inside the calm category. No significant weather is expected. Clear skies or light clouds. Now, as we go into the SPC outlook, we do have a thunderstorm risk that still goes on throughout pretty much all of the upstate. The entire upstate still has thunderstorm juice, pretty much, if that makes sense, meaning that if some convection gets going, we do have that threat potentially for a thunderstorm. And that's not only for tonight, but tomorrow. Again, that northern upstate, that far upstate, we do have a thunderstorm risk there. And then for Saturday, it expands a lot more. Goes inside the western PD, going inside of the Midlands, the upstate, pretty much the entire upstate, all the Midlands except for the southern part, and then obviously the western PD. As we go on now into excessive rainfall, we do not have any excessive rainfall risk as we go through the next 5 days. Again, there is no excessive rainfall days for us for pretty much the next 5 days, so no flooding is expected, no excessive rainfall is expected, so we're good. As we move on to the next area that we usually talk about, that's obviously the models. We go and look at the 0Z. This starts off at 9 o'clock p.m. As we push this forward, you can see that rainfall again going through the upstate, and it continues probably to around like a good 3-4 a.m. until finally it's completely dry. We have no more rainfall even as we move through the day until we get to around 3-4 p.m. Finally, we start to see some shower activity start to get going. Potentially thunderstorm activity goes on in the PD, goes on inside of the southern Midlands. And then the upstate starts to receive their precipitation, but it's going to be late, like 12 to 1, 2, 3 a.m. We start seeing some of that shower and potentially thunderstorm activity move through the upstate. And then once you get to around 5, 6, 7 a.m. this is now Saturday, we have rainfall that moves its way through, and it's not too widespread, but it's definitely not isolated or widely scattered. Moving on to around noon on Saturday, things look a lot drier still, but I mean, just look as we go into the evening time on Saturday, a lot of rainfall moves in from the upstate through the Midlands and potentially even inside the low country as we move into later on Saturday. Now, I will say that we do, in fact, we don't have any excessive rainfall risk out right now. Will that change as we get into Saturday? Maybe. Potentially. If I go in and check out one thing that, obviously, with the crazy score, said low flood risk with precipitable water values 1.5 to 2 inches. Sunday supports some moderate rainfall with localized heavy rainfall possible, but limited by dry soils. No significant flooding threat. So for now, like I said, the reason why, potentially why we don't have any of that excessive rainfall outlook that's out for us is just because soil is dry. It has not rained in a lot of locations for the past couple of days at this point. So I think that might be potentially the main reason why they do not have us inside of a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. Now that might change, just matters on how this develops though. That's it for the short term. So let's go on now and look at the long term. So we're going to start off here where we just ended off, 8 p.m. September the 6th. As you go on and push this forward, rainfall continues even near the coastal regions by around like September the 7th and the 8th. And then just continuing even more. It just seems to just have some coastal shower / thunderstorm activity as we move all the way through the 11th and the 12th. But then once you get to around the like later on the 12th to the 13th, we get really dry. And yes, that is due to a high pressure. For the most part, you see we're staying dry for a good amount of time, potentially for like almost a week. We're seeing not just no rainfall at all from around like the 12th potentially to around like the 18th. So a good amount of precipitation stays off of our coast and just around us, but not really inside of the state as much as we go through that time period. And so, other than that, that's all I have to say in terms of our rainfall. If we go on and talk about obviously our temperatures, because we have a cold front that will be moving in, you can see overall, things don't change too much, but you see this is just the temperatures. If you really want to get a good look, really should go to around like the dew points. And you can see that, the cold front kind of pushes through and it brings definitely some drier air. By the time we get into next week, there definitely will be some drier air in place. But for the most part, you can see some areas still, trying to get back up into those 60s and potentially some 70s in terms of dew points. But look at this cold air that comes up around September the 12th. Comes in and completely just gets rid of all the moisture inside the atmosphere. And we get a lot drier. And this is right here. This is our dry period that we were just talking about from around September the 12th to September the 19th, to where we might not see any rainfall. Atmosphere is exceptionally dry. And even as we go into around September the 18th, that's when I said that moisture might try to move in. You can actually kind of see the battle zone between the cold air from the interior U.S. and then you can see that moisture that comes in from the tropics, kind of having a battle zone in the state. Now that will be later again into mid-September, but half the state's going to be dry while half the state's going to be muggy, and that's just what it's going to be for that time period. So when we get more into that, we'll talk about that, but for now, still 300 hours out or so. That's it, though, for our mugginess. I want to talk about that. And for the cool air, obviously, cold fronts are on the way, so it will start to get cooler eventually. But let's go on and talk about the tropics now, because the tropics, again, probably the main headline right now. Obviously, the tropics here, we have disturbance number 1. This says that a broad area of low pressure associated with a tropical wave is producing a concentrated but still disorganized area of showers and thunderstorm over the eastern tropical Atlantic. Environmental conditions are favorable for development of the system, and a tropical depression is likely to form by this weekend as it moves slowly west at around 5 to 10 miles per hour across the central tropical Atlantic. The system is likely to be near the Lesser Antilles by the middle to latter part of next week, and interest there should continue to monitor the progress. So they're already letting people know in the Lesser Antilles about this system, about how it can impact them. But for now, this has a 60% chance of forming over the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of forming over the next 7 days. So this is now an invest. This is Invest 91, meaning that it is a storm now that they are really monitoring. And so what does it look like right now? Obviously, it's an invest. It's just an area of shower and thunderstorm activity. So it's not the most organized, but you can kind of see the organization with this. A little bit, kind of seeing where it's trying to go. Kind of like the main area of convection, and then you have some around it as well. But if we continue even going into the models here, this is the hurricane models. Most of them go out around like a good 168 hours. And so they make their way over towards the Lesser Antilles and definitely could cause some problems over there. But again, doesn't go any further than that. You can go on to the GFS. GFS doesn't go that far out either, but does show taking a little bit of that curve. And you have some that kind of get over into the Lesser Antilles more, but you have some that is taking that median track, going just to the north and affecting the northern islands, and then you have some that are completely just going away from them. Now for the GEPS again, this one shows it taking a pretty favorable track for us inside of South Carolina because it seems to be taking that curve a lot earlier. Just when will it take that curve is the main question. It's the same thing that we were asking for Aaron. And now we're asking this about, but at this point, most likely going to be tropical storm, if not hurricane, potentially future Hurricane Gabrielle. But tropical storm Gabrielle at this point, I think, is pretty much expected by this. But in terms of the model intensity items, most of them have it category 1, category 2, but some obviously got to get to that major hurricane status, get it to category 3, category 4. And so will it make a category 4 again? That's out there. Will it even make it to category 5 again? That is a lot would have to happen for it to get to a category 5, but it's possible. But that's all I have to say really for the tropics. I mean, this thing right here, like I said, if you want to know exact things about South Carolina, you're not going to know that for another, at least another 3, 4, 5 days at this point. So you still have to wait a little bit longer for that. That's all for the tropics. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. tonight, 9:30. But 9 o'clock usually for the most part. Speaking of, I most likely will not be here tomorrow night as well. So that I won't be here at all tomorrow night. So that's just something I wanted to say there as well. Mr. Chris starts off and says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope your day went well. Please remember to go ahead, like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the share button with everyone that you know." He's exactly correct. We've had so far around a good 10 people tune in. We only have 4 likes. There we go. All right. So if you are part of the other 6 people that have not hit the like button yet, make sure you go in and do so. It's free and you can change your mind at any time. Mr. Chris also said, please remember to pray for my wife as she goes for her MRI tomorrow morning. Absolutely make sure that everyone that you are doing that. He also says, meant to say that today was very nice amongst going a little warm, but not too hot. Again, that's pretty much was the motto for today. It wasn't going to be too hot. Well, it definitely wasn't going to be very hot, but it definitely was going to have a little kick to it. Turo says, greeting, Joseph. How was your day? My day was great. Nice day here. I had a doctor's appointment. I hurt my knee, but it's feeling better now. That's fantastic to hear. Fantastic to hear. Let's go and give a round of applause for that. And then my Nana says, hello, Jay. Hello to you. And that's all that we have inside the audience for tonight. So let's go on now. And before we go on and talk about the drop monitor, let's talk about the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Duncan, Oklahoma, because we always talk about that. But while I'm doing that, the drought predictions are going out now. So obviously the options are, if you have no idea what in the world the drought prediction is something that we do every Thursday, because they do a new drought monitor every Thursday. And so there's 4 options. Obviously the last time we had it, there was no drought, there was no abnormally dry at all. So the first one is obviously no change, meaning that you believe that there is no drought or abnormally dry. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. And then the second option is you think that an abnormally dry has started. But then also it's not big. So that means I'm going to put small for that. And then the third option is obviously abnormally dry has started, but you think that it's actually a pretty large area. And then we have the final option being a drought has started in South Carolina. So there we go right there. Options are now inside of the poll. Go on and vote for that, because we're about to reveal that in about 2-3 minutes. Starting off, though, with the 3 locations outside of South Carolina, that being Raleigh. We have low temperatures tonight at 67, high temperatures tomorrow at 92, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. There is a slight chance of showers tonight, and no precipitation is expected at all tomorrow. Now, for severe weather, you do not have a threat for any severe weather, except for on Saturday. So nothing for tonight and tomorrow. But on Saturday, there is a chance for maybe an isolated severe storm to move through that area. If we go on now and move to the excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected there. Moving on now to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, you have low temperatures tonight 65, high temperature tomorrow 87, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 70. There is showers that are likely tonight, and then there is no precipitation that is expected tonight or tomorrow at all, but showers are likely tonight. You do have a chance for some severe weather on Saturday. It's possible. Isolated severe thunderstorms are possible on Saturday. No excessive rainfall is expected either. Then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 72, high temperatures tomorrow at 87, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 57. There is no precipitation that is expected at all tonight, and then there also is a slight chance of showers tomorrow during the day and tomorrow night as well. No severe weather there either. And is there any excessive rainfall? That's a great question because there is none. So we are good. All three locations, no severe weather expected for all. What's going on throughout the entire U.S.? Obviously, we have scattered thunderstorms capable of producing damaging wind gusts and isolated large hail are expected across parts of the Ohio and the Tennessee valleys into the central Appalachian and the southeast tomorrow. Across the southwest, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall with an isolated totals of up to 4 inches are expected across portions of Arizona and New Mexico through Saturday, bringing the potential for flash flooding. We also do have air quality alerts that are out. I believe that might be dense fog. No, that's air quality alerts out for all of Wyoming, also inside of northern Colorado. And then we also have some more air quality alerts out there for western Montana. And then it's going to continue to get hotter in the northwest up there in Washington State and Oregon as they are having some more heat going throughout that region. And so far, that's all that I can see really. Freeze watch out here for western North Dakota as they might get below 32 degrees. And then also maybe some high wind moving through Montana and South Dakota. So that's it for that. Let's go on and check out the drought monitor polling. So far, everyone has said that the normally dry has started, but it is small. And so I did my research before. Obviously, I checked to see how much rainfall we got this week, and to be honest, I agree. I do agree that the normally dry probably has started, but I think it is relatively small. Just because if I look at how much rainfall we've received over the past 7 days, it's not much. It's not much at all. The most amount of rainfall probably would happen near like the coastal low country. Probably around like 2, 3, maybe even an isolated like 4 inch there, but probably around 2 to 3. And other than that, that's pretty much it. So I do agree that normally dry probably has started. So let's go on and check that out, see the results. And that is correct. We are correct. At least the everyone that voted is correct. Let's go and give a round of applause for that. So yes, everybody that voted got it correct. And so normally dry has started, but it is, I'd say this is small. I wouldn't say this is large. But it is taking over Chesterfield County going into Darlington, Marlboro, Dillon, and then northern Marion County. This is, again, a relatively smaller area. And again, we weren't cheering for the abnormally dry to start. We were cheering because we just got the prediction right. This might go away next week. It might grow as well, especially once we get into that dry area patch as we go into like 10 or so days out from now. But we'll see how this develops and see how we're going to do with this. But that's all that I have for the drought monitor. There was no earthquakes today either. I usually check that every day now just to see. I haven't seen any. And so that's going to wrap this up. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure that you go on and do so. We are at 584 subscribers, 16 away from that main goal of 600. Go on and hit the subscribe button if you have not already. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris is at number 1, Trevor was at number 2, and then my Nana was at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for tonight. And so that is all. I will be back tomorrow morning. Remember, I will not be here tomorrow evening. There will be no evening forecast update tomorrow evening. No evening forecast update tomorrow evening. I will not be here. So I will be here tomorrow morning, Friday morning as normal. And then after that, I will be back on Saturday morning. And that's all that I have. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Only one more day to go, and we will be at the weekend.